Hello everyone, this is an in-depth guide of the skill add-ons, rotations, PvE, and PvP guide for Witch in Black Desert Online. This is a bit more formal take and a bit less casual on how I'm going to show these guides, as these guides are meant for new players and for players who have been gone for a very long time. So let's start off. When you reach to 60, you already know what to do, and that is to fix your skill add-ons. As for PvE, it is kind of a universal build for a lot of witches in the discords and in people who have played witch throughout the years with their changes. And for PvP, witch has not been really the best on damage for the awakening, so this is a build on how to resist more of those damages, and I can show you why later on the video. People would want to go first on the crystals, and I can understand why. Even a seasonal witch can do guidance underground pretty fairly, not in the best way, but it is in a way that witches can do best for awakening. As for early game, if you have a tent, this is what you'll be running. You wouldn't have any Karmat's Heart or Karanda Heart yet, so this is what you should get for the safest route. Here is a bit more later build when you don't really have resistance still and you can still get knocked down by the mobs. It is still a good choice for people who don't really have DR yet. For ones that you don't really need a resist for any kind of mob, then you will need to have them all on AP. For the most part, this is one of the ones that I could be more comfortable with because it does make up for a very, very bad problem as well, and that is the Corrupteds. They give negative DR, and it would be very, very difficult for you to stand on your 2 feet when you don't really have the HP crystals. And this is already assuming that you already have yourself a Karanda's Heart. Moving forward to a bit of an end game kind of crystal build, there we can now dish out the HP crystals and have ourselves a bit more damage. The new crystal that they have introduced that gives monster DR as well, which is really, really nice. And these monster damage reductions can easily void the corrupted crystal's damage reduction. As for the ones that give you CC, of course, you will always have a bit of resistance check that you need, and it will always be that you could use the yellow adamantine or the yellow giants or the red battlefield one. It really depends on your choice. This is the PvP crystal set as provided, and I will give you an explanation throughout the video as well. So if you could stick around on PvP and how PvP works nowadays when it comes to the new DR changes, and as a witch that you pretty much have to take everything. You have to take everything as a bigger person. You'll die a whole lot. So you'll have three buffs, and the first one would be Speed Spell, the second would be your Summoner, and your third will be your Shield. Your Shield would be a good pre-buffs on high DP spots. You also have your class buffs, so please don't forget that as well. This is the first or second skill into your rotation depending on how the mobs hit. This is when the mobs don't really hit that much. This is the second skill in your rotation, or the first one when the mobs do hit too much. This is the follow-up skill after those two skills are casted. When they hit too much, this will be a slower method, but at least have yourself the time to shield up. This is one skill that will lead to the filler skill, in which if you had a mistake, this will be the mistake that will be done. This is a filler skill supposedly in one of the least of the priority lists that you should use. This is a filler skill to regenerate your mana. You don't have to go all the way to use the flow skill, but it is a good flow skill that will also deal an okay amount of damage. After the filler skill to regain your mana, there is one and another skill that you could use. Either one of those is fine, but the other one is prioritized. This one is only when the other one is on cooldown. This is the priority after the filler skill to regain your mana. This one provides the buffs for the AP and DP from your skilled add-ons. And when the mobs do hit hard, you could always not have the second of the animation for the minus AP debuff. Don't forget, when you have no mana, you still have this thing from the Abyss quest. This one's also the same priority of a filler skill with the mistake skill that I have mentioned. It is a very forgiving class with a lot of freestyle methods that you're able to use, so this isn't one rotation fits all in the class, and this is literally a class where you could pick which priority you should use, or whatever you feel like, what's in your muscle memory that has happened, then that will be the skill rotation that you're actually going to get used to. And that's fine. It's not really that everything has to be min-maxed. As for me, this is like what I have remembered throughout all those times. The reason why I'd also call some of them filler skills as well is that it's not in its priority, but in the same time, it is at most priority when you're trying to trade damage during frontal guard of mobs that require high DP. I'll also make a different guide for gear progression. And speaking of progression, if you want to see me progress, I am live on Twitch, on Twitch TV, Ratkill Gaming. It would be nice to have a little bit of laughs myself and a little bit of laughs to you guys as well. The Discord is still in progress as well. I really hope that you could get the Discord set up too. So if you want to tune in, go ahead and feel free. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next